So good evening, everyone. Um, Today we are going to have the focus review session on utilization management and population health management. But before that, we'll be having the quiz as usual from the previous topics. So as you all know, I'll be asking the questions and I expect you to answer, and then we'll try to go through the answer question and answers in detail for your understanding, right? So we'll start with the first question for the day. So here the question. An 80-year-old patient falls while unattended and sustains a hip fracture. The risk manager tells the family that related surgical expenses will be covered. The quality professional investigates the reason for the fall and reviews all falls on that unit for the previous 6 months. Use this information to answer following question. So this is a scenario based question. And the question is, the action by which quality professional is an example of data dash. Options are collection, analysis, tabulation, or option D, reporting. So what's the answer?
Analysis.
Analysis. Okay. So the answer is analysis. Let's see why. In a way, like the question or the scenario here is simple. An elderly patient falls and breaks his hip. There's a fracture. And here, the response of the quality professional is to investigate why the fall has happened. And then he goes back and reviews all falls on that particular unit for the past 6 months. So here the question is asking what type of data activity is the quality professional performing? Okay, so here when we try to understand that there's a data activity happening, and what's the data activity the quality professional is doing is the question, as simple as that. So here the keywords are investigates the reason for fall, right? Investigates and reviews all falls on that unit for the previous 6 months. So this is the keyword here. Here investigate means he's not collecting the data, he's investigating why those falls have happened, and he's trying to understand the circumstances, identify the contributing factors, and he's trying to understand the root causes for all those falls, right? So here we all should know that there are about different types of data activity, right? So for you all to remember, gathering, or in a way like retrieving the records, means it's data collection. Organizing that collected data into tables or putting that into an Excel sheet, or putting that counts for that particular month, etc. It's tabulation of data. And then from that particular collected and tabulated data, if you are trying to find patterns or root causes and then trying to see the trends, that's analysis of data. And finally, once you have understood everything, when you present those findings to others, that's the stage of reporting of data. So there are four types of data activities: collection, tabulation, analysis, and reporting. Now we are supposed to put the scenario into something which the quality professional is doing, and that is what? That's the question here. So here the options are collection of data. Collection means gathering, when this quality professional is gathering the facts about the current fall, right? So he's going through the incident report, he's going through the patient condition, collecting the circumstances around the fall. That's gathering of data. And then when he's collecting the historical data, he's gathering the historical data, that's collection of data, right? That's first option. So in a way, like here the quality professional has moved beyond that particular thing. He's not just collecting them, he's doing something else. Now, option C, tabulation. Tabulation means, like how I told, he's organizing and counting data, right? So here he may be tabulating the data into X falls in January, Y falls in February, or something like that for the previous 6 months, right? And then once the data is tabulated, he's investigating the reasons for fall, and also for the fall, present fall, as well as reviewing all the falls before that for the previous 6 months. So he is doing some sort of intensive or some activity, some cognitive engagement with the data is there, asking why these things have happened and what is the pattern saying, or what might be the root causes for these falls, etc., right? So here the data is already there, it's at hand, and here it needs to be interpreted, and by doing that he is doing analysis of data. That's just a third type which we have discussed, analysis of data, hence it is the right answer. And when once he has analyzed the data, if he presents that to his department or to the chief medical officer or to the governing council, then it would have been the data reporting. Okay, a simple question here, right? Now we'll move on to the next question. Again, here the integrated delivery system is undergoing a major re-engineering effort. Okay, the IDS is undergoing a major re-engineering effort with corporate goals to complete projects timely and within budget. Of the following, the most appropriate approach or model is it failure mode and effects analysis, FMEA, or is it a rapid cycle? Is it focus PDCA, or is it a balanced scorecard? Which is the most appropriate approach or model for the IDS undergoing a major reengineering effect with corporate goals to complete on time and within budget? What's your answer?
Rapid cycle.
Right. So someone has answered as a rapid cycle. Right. So that's the right answer. The question is simple. Here the keywords which we should be looking into is it's an integrated delivery system, a major reengineering effect. Okay, so major reengineering effect means this is on a large scale. There's a fundamental redesign of how things work. There's no small tweak or there is no incremental sort of improvement. It's a fundamental redesign right from the scratch. Okay, now it's talking about the corporate goals. So corporate goals means it's mostly organization wide or on a strategic level, and then timely projects on time and within budget. When it's talking about time and budget, it's talking about speed and cost control as well. Okay, so here there are four options: FMEA, rapid cycle, focus PDC, and balanced scorecard. So here failure mode and effects analysis, FMEA, this topic is yet to come for the ones who are attending for the first time. So in a way, like FMEA is a prospective risk analysis tool. Okay, so it's used to in a way like to anticipate what could go wrong in a particular process before it fails. It's anticipation. It's a proactive risk analysis tool. Okay, it's very much excellent for patient safety and where there are high risk process designs, but it's not in a way like it's not a project management or re-engineering model, right? So it doesn't help you complete the projects on time or within budget. So that's not fitting the keywords over here in the question. So I'm going to eliminate FMEA. Now coming to focus PDCA. Option C, focus PDCA. As you all know, focus PDCA. What is focus PDCA? It's find, organize, clarify, understand, select, then plan, do, check, act, right? So in a way like it's thorough and systematic. And we all know focus PDCA is excellent for specific process improvement projects. Okay, but here the catch is that it's relatively slow and it's in a way it's methodical. right? So and it's designed for individual problems. So but here the question is regarding a major engineering effect, right? So there may be many projects that may need timely completion, and it should happen within the time and within budget, right? So here focus PDCA might be too slow, and it may not help the major reengineering effect as described in the question. So I'm going to eliminate focus PDCA as well. Now coming to balanced scorecard. See, balanced scorecard, we all know it's a strategic performance measurement tool, right? So here it tracks organizational performance across different perspectives for financial, internal, customer, and in a way like community, learning and innovation, and learning and growth, right? So, but it's not a project, it's not used for project execution. So here it doesn't help you for the engineering project, whether on time or within budget. So we are going to eliminate option D, balanced scorecard, as well. So the remaining one is a rapid cycle. And we have discussed this in our previous session. A rapid cycle improvement is based on PDC or PDSA, but on faster cycles, right? So we all know it's designed for situations where we want things to happen within time, or where speed matters. So it breaks larger cycles into small, quick cycles, right? So here each cycle is completed rapidly, and results are assessed and then applied to the next cycle, which helps in faster completion of projects. And it's easier for us to identify what's working and what's not working. And sometimes it has better budget controls, because small cycles will prevent massive reworks, right? So even if something doesn't work, we can always go back and improve upon that. So I mean, like there will be better budget control, and we do have the ability to manage multiple projects simultaneously. So everything fits in as far as the question is concerned. So here the correct option is a rapid cycle is the appropriate model for this reengineering effort. Now coming to, or in a way, like before going ahead, I'll be asking the situation, and if someone's actually interested to answer them, you are free to answer that. So we have discussed all these things in a way like what's the model or methodology which is used to reduce waste in the process workflows? Can anyone name what's the best model in order to reduce the waste? This is out of the quiz. I'm just asking because to reinforce your concept.
Lean.
Yes, lean methodology is the best model as far as reducing waste is concerned. Then what's the best to minimize variations and defects? What is the model that we use to minimize the variations or any defects?
Six Sigma.
Right, Six Sigma, and it's also called as DMAIC methodology in a way. Like whether the options have Six Sigma or DMAIC, you can choose either one. And in a way, like what's the model we use to align the measurement to organizational strategy or vision and mission? What's the best model that helps us to measure the alignment of organization strategy, vision, and mission?
Balanced scorecard.
Scorecard.
Right. Balanced scorecard is the right answer. Okay. So in a way, like that was a short revision. Then let's move ahead to question number 19. Good going, everyone. So the criteria-based performance appraisal is used to, okay. Option A, document process improvements. Option B, determine staffing needs. Option C, assess current competence against standards of practice. Option D, determine effectiveness of QI team improvements. What's the answer?
Letter C.
Option C, assess current competence against standards of practice. Let's see why. So here, in a way, like the question is asking a criteria-based performance appraisal. We all know what is performance. It's a specific type of employee evaluation, right? So here it's asking what is its primary purpose in a way, like what is it used to? Is it about documentation of process improvements, or to figure out staffing numbers, or checking how well an employee skill match their standards, or whether to evaluate the QI team's work or was effective or not? So in a way, like here we are supposed to like it's simple in a way, like first thing is every one of us know what performance appraisal is, but here we need to see that it is added with criteria based performance appraisal. Okay, so here criteria based means here criteria based performance appraisal in a way, like means here the performance is measured against a preset defined criteria or standard. Okay, so it's not just a general impression of someone's work. For your performance appraisal, I may be subjective. Okay, if I like your work, I may tell you, like, I like your work so and so because so and so thing, blah blah blah. But if it's criteria based, I'll have to evaluate your performance on a preset defined criteria or standards. Okay, that's criteria based performance appraisal. That can't be subjective. It has an objective criteria based things. Okay, so and you all know performance appraisal is where it's an employee evaluation tool. It's not a process, or it's not a project evaluation tool also. It's to evaluate the employees or persons, right? So here document process improvements. Okay, we all know process improvements are documented through QI tools, right? So that may be PDCA, that may be through audit, that may be through root cause analysis or run charts, etc. So here a performance appraisal, we all know, is about individual and it's not about the process. So here the first option is eliminated. Now, determine staffing needs. Says in a way, like staffing needs are determined through what? Workforce analysis. What's my present patient volume? What's the trend of the occupancy rate? Then I'll have to go through capacity planning, right? So here I can't determine the staffing needs based on the individual performance, right? So here, in a way, while appraisal results might inform staffing decisions on a secondary basis, but that's not the primary purpose, right? So that doesn't tell me. I can't exactly determine staffing needs with with criteria based performance appraisal. I'm going to eliminate this as well. Coming to option D, determine effectiveness of QI improvements. See, it's done through the data or through indicators, etc. So it isn't through individual performance appraisal. So completely different mechanisms. I'm going to eliminate option D as well. So the remaining one is option C. Yes, in a way, like assess current competence against standards of practice. That's in a way like textbook definition of what criteria based performance appraisal is. Okay, so here, as you all know, there is a predefined criteria, predefined set of standards, right? So and this definition is also exactly what the Joint Commission requires in its staff planning standards. Okay, so in a way, like option C, assess current competence against standards criteria here, criteria based, right? Now, moving ahead to question number 20. Okay, here's a scenario based question. A large medical group with 88 physicians and 26 locations has contracts with 2 HMOs. Both contracts require an ongoing quality improvement process with a particular focus on access, patient satisfaction, and continuity of care. In the past, the medical group has delegated responsibility for performing the quality studies required by the HMOs to a part-time nurse. The owner or medical director of the group has managed primarily from a distance, with no time for review of the studies and little apparent interest in the process or person assigned the task. So from that scenario, the question is, what leadership style would you attribute to the medical director? Is it autocratic? Is it bureaucratic? Is it participative? Or is it laissez-faire? What's your answer?
This is fair.
Okay. Option D, laissez-faire. But Johanna, can you explain why that is the right answer?
Because the medical director is primarily from the distance. He's not contributing to this project, and then only the responsible delegated the person is the one doing this task.
All right. Yes, that's the right answer. So we have throughout the course till now, we have gone through the leadership styles in almost every session. Again, this autocratic pops up every time. So here just we'll discuss why option D is the right one. So here going through autocratic. See, here the question was regarding there's a HMO, there is a medical group with so many physicians and all. The contract requires quality improvement process with particular focus on something. And here they have appointed a part-time nurse for quality, and the owner or medical director is managing from distance. He has no time for review, and there's very apparent, I mean, like there's no interest in the process of or in the person assigned to the task. So in a way, like all these are classically pointing towards laissez-faire style. And here the options are autocratic. So autocratic leaders are like highly controlling. They make the decision themselves, give direct orders, and they expect strict compliance without any input from others. Here, the scenario is exact opposite of what autocratic is. So I'm going to eliminate autocratic. Coming to bureaucratic, see here in bureaucratic, in a way like they will follow fixed rules, policies, or procedures very rigidly. Here, I mean, like to sum it up, we can say bureaucratic leaders go by the book, okay, where processes are carefully followed and they respect the hierarchy. So here in this particular scenario, we don't see that evidence, okay. So here the medical director is not enforcing rules or there's no structured process. He's simply absent, right? So we are not going with bureaucratic as well. Now we all know participative leadership style too, where the leader actually gets involved and will involve the team in the decision making. They look for input, collaboration. They will listen and engage the staff, right? So here the medical director is not showing any engagement, any interest or involvement. So again, opposite of what participatory is. Coming to laissez-faire. Yes, I mean, like here there is avoidance of responsibility. There's inaction on his part. In a way, like he's delegating his responsibility to the part-time nurse, and he is not even following up. He's not having any time for the review also. So all these are classically pointing towards laissez-faire leadership. Okay, that's a right answer. Now, coming to the next question, here the same scenario. Okay, here there's the same scenario, but the question is, what is the primary reason quality improvement efforts may fail in this medical group? Is it lack of quality improvement education? Is it lack of leadership commitment? Is it lack of resources? Or too many locations to manage? What's your answer?
Lack of leadership commitment.
Right. Here, there's a lack of leadership commitment and quality improvement efforts may fail due to that. So here, we all know quality improvement efforts. I mean, like it's the single most important reason for quality improvement efforts, which may where the organization may fail or even succeed is the leadership commitment. Okay. So here we all know the leadership style of this particular medical director or the owner. He has laissez-faire style where he has no time for review. There's very little interest in the quality work. Okay. So here he is not committed to the quality studies, and that's the primary reason that the quality improvement efforts in this organization may fail. Right. So here, let's go through other options as well. Lack of quality improvement education. I mean, like we see, there's no evidence in the scenario wherein the staff lacking quality improvement education or so, right? So yeah, the scenario is not talking about the educational levels of the staff or I mean, like QI education as well. So in a way, like on mere assumption, you can't go with the answer. So I'm going to eliminate this. Lack of resources. See, in a way, like partly it may be true that for even for such a big responsibility of quality studies, he has just hired a part-time nurse to handle the task. But we can't explicitly say that the lack of resources might be the thing. Okay. In a way, like that's not the in a way like that's not the appropriate answer for this particular thing, because in a way like we can even argue that if the director has prioritized QI, he would have allocated resources, and once he's not actually involved, he might not allot the resources or so. We can argue that, but again, that might be a what do you say assumption, because here there's nothing directly revealing about the resource allocation, right, in the question. Now, too many locations to manage. I mean, like yes, there are too many locations over here that leads to complexity. But with proper leadership structures and all, or whatever it is, we can overcome that. But here, the question is not talking about the geographic spread or how complex the system is, and everything. So once the question or the scenario is not giving us explicit hints towards these other options, and it's actually giving clear hints at the lack of leadership commitment due to laissez-faire style of leadership. Here, the answer is straightforward, that option B, lack of leadership commitment, may be the primary reason for the failure of quality improvement efforts. Okay. So in a way, like this one statement may lead to other things as well, because if leadership commitment is not there, you can even say that there is no vision for the quality efforts, or he might not have allotted the resources as well. There's no accountability. Staff may feel unsupported, everything. So there might be one or two other options which might come close, but again, this is explicit and we are supposed to go with the option. That's the right answer. Good. Now, the primary goal of quality or performance improvement is to improve what? Is it patient care process? Is it patient safety? Is it patient outcome? Or is it patient satisfaction? What's your answer?
Patient satisfaction.
Patient outcome.
Patient outcome. Anyone else with their choice of option? Because we got two different answers here. Okay, so there are two different answers, but the right answer for this question is patient outcomes. Okay, let's see. In a way, like here the question is asking like the direct question, the primary goal. Primary goal means it's not going to be a secondary benefit or a byproduct, but the end destination of quality improvement is what? Okay, so primary goal, quality improvement. Now, so we have already discussed the fundamental definition of what QI is, what is the purpose of QI. Okay, so here This might be a straightforward question, but the options here are given in such a way that it might confuse you because all four options relate to quality improvement. So I don't blame the one who has answered option D as well. But in a way, like, think it this way. What out of these four is a goal? Goal means a destination. Okay, it's not the path, it's not the way, it's not the process, it's not what do you say? It's not through which we achieve the final goal. Here, it's talking about the end outcome, end goal, the end primary goal. Okay, so it should not be a pathway, it should be a destination, right? So what happens is, in any in quality improvement, we select a process, we improve that process so that we improve the safety, right? We improve the safety because we want to improve the outcomes, right? We'll select a process, we improve the process so that we improve safety, and we improve safety so that we want to improve outcomes, right? But here's the catch. Better outcomes will always lead to better satisfaction. So here all these four options come into the things we have discussed regarding quality or performance improvement. That's a chain, right? Process, safety, satisfaction, and outcomes. Here, the process, safety, and satisfaction are either inputs or the pathways or the byproducts, but is not the ultimate destination. Ultimate destination is patient outcome, right? So in a way, like, I hope you have understood why option C, patient outcome, is important. And theoretically also, and once you go through what do you say, all the quality frameworks as described by WHO or IHI, Institute of Medicine, AHRQ, wherever it is, every quality framework defines the patient outcomes as the ultimate purpose of healthcare quality improvements. As simple as that. Other elements like better processes will lead to better safety, and better safety will give us better outcomes, right? That's the ultimate aim. The secondary advantage of all this is patient satisfaction. See, for example, if we have a perfect process, okay, if we have a, what do you say, what do you say, we may have a perfect process, but if it has no improvement in patient outcome, okay, that might happen. This is not going to be the answer for that, right? So process improvement is a means and not the end. Because if the patient outcome, if there is no improvement in patient outcome, there's no fun in perfectly redesigned process. So here we are removing that. Your patient safety, it's a major component of quality improvement again, but safety is a dimension of outcome, right? So in a way, like, it's one of the subsets of outcomes, and it's closer but not the primary one. And coming to patient satisfaction, like how someone has answered, it's a consequence of a good care, but it's not the goal. I can't exactly look at the patient satisfaction as my ultimate goal. Yes, that is on back of my mind, that I need the customer is the primary focus. I need patient satisfaction, but for that to happen, we need to have good outcomes. See, in a way, like, a patient can be satisfied with care that is clinically ineffective also, or he may also be dissatisfied with excellent care that might involve some sort of discomfort to him, right? Here, the satisfaction is, again, it's subjective. It's from the patient's perception. But when we compare satisfaction to outcome is reality. It's more objective. I hope you understand. Sarah, someone answered
Yes.
this.
Yes.
I hope you got it. Why patient
Yes.
satisfaction is the primary goal of quality improvement. Okay. So you'll have just to understand that. Now, coming to the next question. Reengineering QI in a newly merged multi-specialty medical group practice represents which process in the quality or performance improvement function? Okay. Reengineering QI in a newly merged multi-specialty medical group practice represents which process in QI function? Is it planning or design? Is it measurement or monitoring? Is it assessment or analysis? Or is it improvement or remonitoring? What's your answer?
Planning and design, because it's newly merged, multi-specialty medical group. The engineering.
Okay. Right. Planning and design. That's the right answer. So here we'll have to look at these keywords. A newly merged. It's a newly merged thing. So the organization is brand new and there is no existing QI system either to measure or to analyze or to remonitor things, right? So everything must be built from scratch, right? And reengineering QI means it's not tweaking or improving on the existing system. We are going to completely start from the scratch. It's completely redesigning it, right? So here, once we know that we are starting from scratch, it's a newly merged medical group. There is nothing to measure for, right? So you can only monitor or measure something which has already existed, which is not the case with the question. So I'm not going to go with this option. Assessment or analysis, again, this requires existing data. There's no prior data for us. So we are going to eliminate this option as well. Improvement or remonitoring, in a way like remonitoring means you have already taken action on a known problem, right? So you are going to check whether it has worked or not. But here, there is no prior cycle of improvement because we are starting from the scratch. So there is no remonitoring thing, right? So I'm going to eliminate this. Planning and design, yes. I mean, like here the organization is newly formed through merger and is re-engineering its QI function from the scratch. So this is in a planning or design phase because here they are going to define the QI structure for the entity in a way like they are going to design how quality will be organized, governed, and they will be creating new processes, new indicators and everything, right? So in a way like they are going to come up with a blueprint. That's the phase they are in. So option A, planning and design, is the right answer. Now, a scenario-based question again. So a month ago, the quality professional was asked to be the project coordinator for the development of a balanced scorecard for her organization, Friendly Mountain Healthcare System, an integrated delivery system of 3 hospitals, 4 large medical specialty groups, home health agency, hospice, 2 long-term care facilities, and freestanding behavioral health and rehab centers. The goal is rapid development and implementation in order to provide accurate, uniform information regarding organization-wide performance, both internally and to healthcare purchasers. During the past month, she confirmed that there is commitment on the part of executive team. She has participated in strategic planning and knows that organization challenges, including improving information technology, understanding the quality of care being provided across the continuum, maintaining financial stability and profitability, and providing new services to meet needs identified in the cultural assessment. These challenges have been deemed critical success factors. Use this information to answer the questions. The basis for success of the project is option A, overcoming the organization challenges prior to scorecard implementation. Option B, understanding the relationship between selected performance measures. Option C, linking performance measures to mission, vision, and strategic goals. Option D, linking non-financial performance measures to financial performance. What's your answer?
Balanced scorecard linking performance measure to mission, vision, and strategic goals.
Right. So option C is the right answer. Let me summarize the scenario here. Here, nothing but like a quality professional is building a balanced scorecard for complex ideas. So she has confirmed that there's executive commitment and also knows the organization's strategic challenges. Okay. So the question is asking what is the fundamental basis for success of this balanced scorecard project? Okay. So here we are going to look for the question, the basis for success of the project, right? So in a way like it's asking what might be the reason that the project may succeed. Okay. And one thing we'll have to look into is there are critical success factors in this, like improving IT, understanding the care being provided across the continuum of care, maintaining financial stability and profitability, providing new services to meet. These are all the critical success factors. Okay, now what is a balanced scorecard? We have already gone through in our last session. We all know it's not a like it's not just a data dashboard, right? So it's more of a strategic alignment tool for the organization. And we all know the purpose of the balanced scorecard is to translate the organization's mission, vision, and strategic goals into measurable performance indicators, right? So in a way like the practical sort of way. If that link is not there, if the link is not with the organization's mission, vision, and strategic goals, balanced scorecard becomes random, right? Which we don't want. So here, coming to the options, overcoming the organization's challenges prior to scorecard implementation. So in a way like here, the organization has identified the gaps, the quality issues, financial pressures, everything. I mean, like, should all these be solved before launching the balanced scorecard for the balanced scorecard project to succeed? I mean, like, no. I mean, like, because that may delay implementation indefinitely because we don't know when we are going to overcome these challenges, right? So these are the critical success factors and challenges which we have discussed. So here, the balanced scorecard project should not be waiting until all these challenges disappear. In fact, balanced scorecard is the tool which helps us to overcome these challenges, right? So I'm not going with option A for that particular reason. Understanding the relationship between selected performance measures. So here, in a way like understanding the relationships is good. In a way like it's important for us because we don't want to repeat things or we want to avoid redundancy. And we want to have a complete coherent picture, right? So in a way like we can understand the relationships perfectly, but still we want to build balanced scorecard. And here balance, I mean like even if you can't understand certain relationships and you want to go building the balanced scorecard, which has nothing to do with organization strategy, we are going against the basics of very balanced scorecard. I hope you understand. In a way like we want to have a coherent, complete picture of all the measures without any randomness in it. Okay. So which is the basic foundation for the balanced scorecard. Here, if we go ahead and do that, then again, we are not going to succeed in it. So I'm going to eliminate this. Linking non-financial performance measures to financial performance. See, it's true that both financial and non-financial performances are measured or seen in the balanced scorecard, and balanced scorecard was brought in order not to solely depend on financial performance but also on non-financial performance. But that's only a part of balanced scorecard philosophy or the very reason for balanced scorecard. Okay, so here is much more than that. The question is giving, the scenario is giving much more information than what this generic option is, right? So that's not the only or the primary sort of goal. So here the basis of success for this balanced scorecard is not just linking the financial and non-financial performances. Okay, so that's not going to give us a full picture. So coming to option C, linking performance measures to mission, vision, and strategic goals. Yes, that's the right answer, because the entire balanced scorecard is built on this very principle, right? We all know any measure should be chosen should directly be traced back to the organization's mission, vision, and strategic goals. Okay, here in this scenario, I mean, like, the quality professional has already told or already participated in strategic planning. They know, I mean, like, what are the critical success factors of the organization. Okay, so here the balanced scorecard succeeds when each of these measure reflects one of those strategic priorities, right? Whether it may be IT improvement, whether quality across the continuum, or the financial stability, or introducing new services. Without this link to mission, vision, or strategic goals, the measures or the scorecard will not be meaningful. Okay, it becomes meaningless data. It becomes a random data. So the success depends on linking performance measures to mission, vision, and strategic goals. So option C is the right answer. Now coming to the next question, the same scenario again. Based on critical success factors, which of the following perspectives might be what do you say, considered most important in prioritizing performance measures? Okay, so is it financial innovation and growth, customer quality, financial internal community innovation and growth, financial quality research and teaching, customer, or financial community, customer, and internal? In a way, like, it's asking, like, based on the 4 critical success factors which we have discussed, identified, which set of the balanced scorecard perspectives does it represent, or which they should prioritize their performance measures? Okay, so here, just to review or just to remind you, the critical success factors is: 1, improving information technology, understanding quality of care across the continuum, maintaining financial stability, and providing new services from cultural assessment. These are the 4 critical success factors that are identified. Now it's asking what are their perspectives, basically prioritizing performance measures. What are their perspectives from the balanced scorecard? There's a hint on the slide as well. If you can answer, what is your choice of answer? What's the answer?
A.
Option A, financial innovation and growth, customer, and quality. Okay, any other one coming up with any other thing? Right. So, okay, let's go through each option and why exactly that may fit. Before going ahead, we need to remember what are the different perspectives as far as the balanced scorecard are concerned. Okay, so as you can see on the screen, it may be financial, it may be operations or internal, it may be research, it may be innovation and growth, it may be community outreach, it may be customer. Okay, so there are different sort of perspectives, but remember, an organization can have these are the broad categories, right? So broad perspectives. The organization can customize it to their own liking as well. And second thing, we all know the ones we discussed earlier are financial, customer, internal process, and learning and growth options. Okay. So in a way, like we know what are the four critical success factors. That is IT, then quality care across continuum, financial stability, and new services. Now think about those CSFs and from which perspective they fall into. Now, maintaining financial stability falls under financial category, right? So that's one thing. Then providing new services after cultural assessment. What might be that? Providing new services based on cultural assessment. Here, you may be tempted to go with innovation and growth or learning and growth because you see that the cultural assessment is there. But here, here is talking about providing new services to meet needs identified in the cultural assessment. Here, the organization is taking or it's bringing in new services that are driven by community need identification. They are going towards the community to identify what is needed for the community through the cultural assessment there in the community, right? So it doesn't fall under innovation and growth or learning and growth perspective. It rather falls under the community, what do you say, community perspective, right? So here the option changes over here, Johanna. And then another is like understanding quality across the continuum. Here, the quality of care, we are talking about the quality of care being provided across the continuum. That's, is it, you will have to think about it now. Does it come under internal operations or is it talking about the customer perspective? I would go with the customer because the quality of care is experienced by the patients across the system, across is quality of care being provided across the continuum. And the other thing of improving information technology is IT infrastructure more suitable for internal operations perspective. So IT, I would put it into internal operations, and quality care being provided across the continuum, I would put into the customer perspective, right? So in that way, I'm going with financial, community, customer, and internal perspectives as far as this balanced scorecard is concerned. Okay, so here financial may sit in, quality customer may sit in again, but these are the things that will not go with this option, right? So I hope you understand why exactly I'm trying to go with option D. Now, coming to the next question. Here again, this is the last question of the quiz before we go into the main focus session. Again, the same scenario. Here it's asking like the balanced scorecard answers which questions? Okay. You all know that the quality professional is working on the balanced scorecard project, developing the balanced scorecard for the organization. Here, the question is the balanced scorecard answers which questions? Is it how are we going to get there and which way do we go? Or option B, how are we doing and are we there yet? Option C, where are we going and what are we doing? Option D, why are we here and what is our purpose? What's your answer? I may rather ask you to ask what are your questions?
Letter B, Doctor.
Option? Sorry?
How are we doing and are we there yet?
Yes, right. Option B, how are we doing? Are we there yet? See, you may get these sort of questions in your exam, even if the entire information is not given, right? Even if I take out the entire scenario, The question is very much direct. The balanced scorecard in a way like answers which questions. Even if I ask this question, the options will still remain the same and the answer will still remain the same. Okay, but sometimes you have to go through that in a way like. So here the question's asking like balance to, I mean like every tool has a specific purpose. We all know that. It is used to answer certain questions, right? So here there are pairs of questions and it's asking like balanced scorecard answers which questions, right? Now, let me go through each option. How are we going to get there? Which way do we go? Okay, so here we use these questions, we get the answers to these questions like how are we going to get there? Which way do we go? This is sounding more of a planning question, right? So they're more about action plan or charter, project charter in CPOC and DMAIC methodology, project charters, and then roadmaps. Okay, so we all know balanced scorecard doesn't tell you how to achieve goals. It will not tell how are we going to get there or which way do we go. Okay, so but it tells you whether you are achieving them or not, right? So I'm going to eliminate option A. Now coming to option C, where are we going? What are we doing? So this is more about setting a direction, right? So it's here we are setting direction. So it's about where are we going? What are we doing? These questions relate more to mission, vision, and strategic plan, right? Don't get confused. Balanced scorecard gives the practical way for the implementation, or in a way like its basis lies in the organization's mission, visions, and strategic planning. But here, these questions, where are we going, what are we doing, are answered or are more reflected in the organization's mission, vision statement, and strategic plans. And balanced scorecard is built after you know what the mission, vision, and strategic plan is, because balanced scorecard monitors your journey. It's not the destination, right? So I'm going to eliminate this option as well. Why are we here and what is our purpose? This is more of a philosophical question. Okay, again, this indirectly links to our vision, mission, and values of the organization. So balanced scorecard in a way like assumes that these are already answered. Okay, so I'm going to eliminate this option as well. And coming to option B, how are we doing? Are we there yet? Yes, in a way like this fits into what the purpose of balanced scorecard is, because how are we doing? In a way like it gives the performance monitoring or from different perspectives, whether it be financial, community, customer, internal perspectives, whatever it is giving us a snapshot, a sort of monitoring of the performance as to how we are doing, right? And are we there yet? Because it's comparing your performance with the targets and goals, right? So in a way like this pair of questions are perfectly suiting the balanced scorecard. So option B is a right one. Okay. So remember, why are we here is mission statement. Where are we going is the vision statement. How do we get there is more of a strategic planning. And how are we doing and are we there yet is balanced scorecard. Okay. I hope you don't have any doubts regarding the quiz session. And if everything is okay, we'll be moving forward to the next session. Any doubts now?